All right, we'll call the meeting to order. We have quorum, so that's great. Nate, do you want to do a roll call? Nate, not Nate. Sean. Do you want to do a roll call?
Yes, Nate Algard, Connie Otten, Deb White,
Here.
Shinwar Mai, McKell Pauline Normandin,
Here.
Willard Yellowbird, and Heather Keeler.
Here. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the Human Rights Commission meeting agenda for November 20th, 2019. And also, we will approve the minutes from the October 16th, 2019 Human Rights Commission meeting as well.
I do have an item to add, just so you know, something came in last minute.
Okay.
So there's an item to discuss
Okay.
somewhere in the agenda.
Under new business?
Sure.
I move to approve with the addition of the mystery item to new business.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is approved or carried. So we will approve the meeting minutes from October 16th, 2019, and the agenda for November 20th, 2019. Next item on the agenda is our citizens to be heard. Don't see any, so I think we're good there. The next item on the agenda are the Human Rights Award selection. Hopefully, everybody got a chance to review
Exciting.
the nominees. We had A through F to look at, looks like.
G.
McKell?
Oh, even G.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Fine.
If I could, I just want to pass this around. There was a late nomination that came in.
Is this your mystery item, or is it?
No, this is something different. But I still wanted to put their voice in here, even though they missed the deadline.
Okay.
Just for you guys to review. This will go under nominee F.
Oh, so it's with one of the ones that are already, oh, great. Because they didn't have enough.
Right.
That's great.
Or nominee F.
All right. Does anybody have kind of a plan? I don't remember how we did it last time.
Really, I think you guys decided how many you were going to give out, discussed your thoughts on the different nominees, and selected.
Does anybody have any that rose to the, top for them? Or how do you want to start?
Well, I was going to see, so we have, how many for civic? Because each one of these has a little check mark, so one.
Yeah, can I ask a question about
Yes.
that? Because I wondered, is it necessary to only have one per category, or is it possible? 'Cause I just thought there's a couple of them that happen to be, I think, strong applicants, but they're in the same category. Do we need to just do one, or could there? Because in some we don't have any, and so.
Well, which ones are you talking about? Because some of them actually have marked two different categories.
Right, yes, so how closely do we need to follow the categories? Because
Really is,
we're based on the application.
I think it's all at your discretion. If you want to
I don't
go
think
through
it's
the
a-
nominees and,
Did everybody have a chance? Did you get a chance to review them, Condi?
Yes.
Okay.
I really put time to review this.
Do we just want to maybe go around the room and see who stands out, and maybe that kind of just sums it all up?
At least gives us a starting point.
Do you want to start then?
In my mind, applicants, the nominees G, E, and F were the ones that stood out.
Me too.
Okay.
I said E and G, and I took a bunch of notes on why I kind of thought they stood out above the rest if we get to that point.
I strongly agree with G, E, and F.
one of the things I like looking at them in a mix is in terms of the work that we've got people that are working in different areas within our community. We've got looking at the work of individuals as well as organizations.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
that was one of the things that I thought about.
Right, it's not just focused on one
Yep.
group. I like that as well.
I only know I don't know who is this person, but
Well, we're not supposed to know who any.
yeah, I know. But you know, this looks a deserved person. He is really a strong person to me.
I really liked G, wait, is that the last one?
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, because,
ESL. and-
right, because of the generational impact.
Yeah.
You know, when I read through it, I love when things are focused on the youth. As you guys know, that's a huge passion of mine. But the thing about G that was really, is that a lot of it is on volunteer work. It's not a paid position for a nonprofit organization. I think sometimes people get really passionate about their paid position.
Absolutely.
But when it's a volunteer and you're doing so much work on your own time, and G just really seemed, there were references to helping students, their moms, their grandmas, and so what really drew me to this one is that there's that generational impact to really break down barriers on a volunteer
Yeah.
basis.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a lot, that says a lot about character and who you are.
Yeah. And related to that, looking at all aspects of people's life. So, I mean, there's working on as an ESL teacher, but going well beyond that, of really
Yeah.
connecting
And
with
giving rise to
families and,
families.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, much more holistic approach, too.
I also, oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Are we still talking about G, or can we talk about a different?
Whatever.
So I also really, really liked E for the fact that the work that this applicant did started as a college student. And I think when you start ambition at such a time in a life when you're so crazy busy with everything else and you see this greater need in your community, but also the amount of kind of tentacles within the community and all the different areas, like partnering with the library and just different organizations. So it wasn't just one organization that this applicant is working on. It has, from the stories, it seems like it's multiple areas. And being a part of the SEED program, because I've gone through that program, that's a lot of deep work, that again is that volunteer piece. And so I guess for me, that's why I thought those two really rose to the top. I think F is a great candidate. I like the work that they're doing, but those were kind of the reasons that those two specifically rose up for me.
I'll add on to that too with E, that, looking at somebody who's a current college student, who's still, working on finishing their education and is already doing so much. And clearly, again, it's like while they have a role within a particular local nonprofit that works with a particular community, that group, this person is clearly like reaching out well beyond that and trying to, bring people together across many different communities. And I think that shows this real depth of commitment to community building and human rights, and I appreciated that. And yeah, and the work that they're doing, like going through trainings and trying to really expand their knowledge, I thought that was really valuable.
So what do you guys think about, if we did awards for all three, we do E for like civic and community, F for nonprofit, because that can be a group, and then do G for
Education.
education.
Yeah. And then, I also wanted to say one thing too, because I think even somebody addressed this with F, of making sure that we could see how is this tied in with human rights, and I think one thing too is looking at the work that they're doing, how it's also about bringing people across communities together. And so making sure that we have, if we are an inclusive community, that everybody is participating. And so that, I know some of I'll admit, I happen to know which group this is, you know,
Yep.
but I think, you know, that the work that they're doing really is about bringing community together, bringing families together, and, you know, so there's things about it that I thought they were just a really strong fit too, so.
I don't think there's anything wrong with having 3
Yeah.
awards, especially because all of them had so many nominations.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it just kind of speaks for the work that is going on within our community, and I think any chance that we have to have an opportunity to highlight that and celebrate that, like, why wouldn't we take the opportunity to do that?
Yeah. I would actually also entertain just making sure that we connect, I don't know what you've done in the past, but connect with the other organizations that were nominated, other individuals or organizations that were nominated, to let them know that they were nominated, and maybe even include the the folks that nominated them, because some of them, I think, you know, I think they're doing some good work too, that I'd want to make sure that we
Yep.
recognize that. And the other thing I thought is maybe in the future too, if we just had more information, like I could see some of these being ones that will come forward in the future.
Right.
You know, that it'd be great to hear a little bit more, and, but even in the meantime, I think just making sure that we are taking the time to connect with them and let them know that their work is valued.
Yeah, in Fargo, there is also not only individuals, organizations, awards. I don't know if we can add that to here in Moorhead. You understand what I mean?
Well, I think the nonprofit is an organization.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That's what I mean.
But if it's a little bit more, if our promotion is more towards like individuals or groups and organizations, because I think of like student groups too.
Yep.
You know, in some of our campuses, that some of the work that our student groups are doing is pretty impactful too. But I am actually pleased with the response. I was kind of nervous there for a little bit, like what we were gonna get, but I think that
This is
these
about
are
what we got last year, I would guess.
really good stories happening in the
Oh,
community.
yeah.
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 Yep, we did. Yeah, we probably had about the same amount.
I think it was roughly similar, yeah.
Yep, yep. I don't remember, so, okay, let's go back to I don't remember what we did last year, I don't know if we have even, is the contact information for these nominees in there, or do we send some kind
Some
of
of them,
response to the person that nominated them and say, you know, we appreciate your nomination, please continue to bring these people forth in other years, and then, you know, I don't know, or do you email them and say, hey, you were nominated for this? I don't know how you word that and say, sorry, you didn't win, or, I mean.
Or just, you know,
That's-
while you were, we wanted to, I think just letting them know, we wanted you to know that you were nominated, and even though you weren't among those that were selected this year, the Human Rights Commission wants
Right.
you to know that your work is valuable and
Yep.
appreciated as part of, you know,
Yeah.
I could draft an email, and then you could review it and sign it, and then I could send it to those that aren't
Okay.
selected.
yeah.
I think that would be great,
I agree.
because it would be nice, I mean,
Because they maybe don't know that they were
Right.
nominated.
well, most of them checked
Right.
on here that they don't know. Does
Right.
this person know that they've been
Yeah.
nominated?
Right.
And I could see, knowing people in the upper Midwest, that then they may be uncomfortable telling, like, you know, if like we only contacted the person who nominated, they may not feel comfortable telling them like, oh, I nominated you, and you know,
Right.
you didn't get picked. But, you know.
Right. So then do we let the person that nominated them, like, maybe send the message to the nominee and the nominator so that they know the gig is up? I mean, what if some of these people didn't want anybody to know that they nominated somebody?
Well, if you send it to the person who is nominated, if one of the notes goes to the person who was nominated, you could say, you were nominated. You don't tell them who nominated. You just say, we want you to know that you were nominated for this award.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be better.
So it
'cause
doesn't have to be.
In my head, I'm like, you're telling
Yep.
them, you're like, hey, look at, somebody said this really nice thing about you, but
Right. I think the
all about
anonymous,
confidentiality.
Mhm.
in my
Yeah,
mind.
the anonymous piece is.
Right.
right.
But still recognizing that somebody in your community thinks very highly of the work that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Sound good. You can do it, and then I'll redo it, and then we'll.
Redo it.
I always reformat all of this.
But for the nominees, Josh, you have email that you can email to them saying that.
If it was included on the nomination form.
It looks
just
like they're
depends.
all
I
blacked
think
out.
most
Looks
had
like
it.
they all have, yeah.
You have it
Mm-hmm.
in your secret.
Yeah, I don't know if it's there for everyone. Most of them, yes.
Your secret stash of
Secret stash of unredacted documents.
Like nominee G, if you get one email, that's enough.
That was a good word.
Unredacted.
Or nominee E, nominee F.
Well,
Most
they
of them
don't
have
need to,
emailed.
they're going to be getting the award, so we don't have to send them this particular email.
So are you guys gonna make that official here?
Ooh,
The,
we should,
Should we motion it? Do we have to motion it?
So they are not getting email, so then the winners are not getting emails, like congrats, you get this, win and this? They will get, right?
Right now, we're just talking about what we're going to send to the people
Oh,
who didn't
I
win.
see, yeah.
And then we'll go on to what we're going to do to the
okay.
winners, correct? Okay.
so I would move to select as the 2019 Moorhead Human Rights Award recipients, nominees E, F, and G.
E for, what did we say?
Civic and community?
E for civic, F for nonprofit, G for education.
Yes.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the motion is passed. We will have nominees E, F, and G as the award winners for 2019. All right. Then, do we need a motion? Do we have to have a motion about sending out an email to the non? Okay.
I
So then
wondered,
for
so
the
now we get to know.
Awarded, will we send an, like, will we let them know they've been selected and send an invite then?
What we did last year was, yes, we notified them, let them know that they had been selected, invited them to attend the December 9th city council meeting
Who are
to
they
be, to have it presented to them at that time
Yes.
by the mayor and someone from HRC.
Will we have the opportunity to do a reception ahead of time?
Yes, we'd like to
That
do
was nice that we did that last year, and then the recipients could bring their family, and we had a small reception downstairs, and then we came up here and gave the award.
Okay, so when is the next, December 9th
So it's December 9th, yep, it's Monday, December 9th.
Okay.
at 5:30? Is that when those meetings are?
Is it 5:30 is when it starts, right?
5:30 is when the,
Yeah.
but if the reception is gonna, would that be,
Right, and the reception would be at 4:45, 5. We'll arrange to have, refreshments, and we'll tell what we did last year was we invited the recipients, invited them to share the information with their friends and family. We put out an e-notification with the city, and so local press picked that up, and, it was open house, anybody's allowed. And last year, we had a number of media here that night.
Yeah, and they came to my work.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, if it's okay, I mean, we can just do what we did last year. We
That'd
can
be perfect.
notify them, plan a reception. I can get the information out to everybody.
and then does somebody read something, or will we read a little something, will someone read something about the groups too? And- or-
If I recall, what we did last year was we put together like a short bio on the recipients. And then I know the mayor read like a Universal Human Rights Day proclamation. And then I'm not sure if they read the bios or not.
I would, actually, I had a Christmas program that night, so I wasn't at that one, but I
Right,
think
Willard
Willard
was.
did. Yep. So I think that would be, I don't have a Christmas program this year, so that's good. I think that'd be great.
Okay. So who, are you gonna be here to present it, and anybody else who wants to come? Just so we have somebody, we know we'll have.
You're gonna be here?
Yes, I am.
I'll be here.
Okay. Well, and Deb will be here.
Yes.
I missed
And
the last.
actually, if possible, because I just think it would be nice if they, like, when they get their award, if the commissioners could stand, just so we could shake their hands and,
Yep.
if that's, I don't need to read anything, but it would, I think for them to see who the different commissioners are, meet us, and for us to, and we'll see them downstairs, but I don't know, is that okay if something?
Yeah, and also, at the reception, it'd be ideal too if we could get a picture, get the commissioners who are here with them, and, yeah.
Okay. Great plan.
Great.
Is there anything else we need to do on that item?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. That went faster than I thought. Annual plan development.
So I included that in your packet. I made the updates that were requested. Now it's just a question of if there's more you want, or if this is final.
I do have one question because that's how I'm rolling tonight.
Oh, I see some dates to change.
Oh, that was my question. Yeah, this little regular business column on the back thing just throws me off every time. Mainly because I think because we have dates on there from
Yeah,
last year. So if we change those dates, like in September, where it says guest speaker Pangea, I think we should still do that. And then would that be 2001 annual plan development we would start?
21?
yes, yeah.
One, yeah.
Or that's
And then that date on all three of those.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. And then I do think in March, we should see if Cassie can come again, or whoever's in charge for welcoming week, and have them speak again. Oh, and one more thing. What is this and maybe this is something I should know, consultation on CD.
That's the one I put in there.
This is your sneak attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, every year we do an annual action plan, and we like to present the information to the group and just,
And you did
Give
that
feedback.
this year. We did that this year. That's
Yep.
Community Development Block Grant. It's
Okay.
federal funding.
So I thought that one of the conversations was to spread out the annual plan, so that we're not just doing it September, October, November, that if we could, so
Like
we
in
see
July?
we added it in July, but were we going to take it out of September or October, or it's still
No,
3 different meeting months?
I think we were going to start talking about it in July because it's due in November or December?
yep, we're supposed to have it in.
Yeah, we're supposed to have it done and ready to present in
So-
November.
Okay,
So,
so we took it off the November month, basically, because it should be
Right.
done by then.
right, it should be done by then, but I think last time it was like, we didn't start talking about it until
Mm-hmm.
like August or September, and I feel like we needed more
Sure.
time than that.
Sure.
So that's why I thought we'd bump it up a little bit. I mean, we could even move it to June and then skip July. I don't know.
I think it's fine. I just wanted
Okay.
to,
Because hopefully we can start talking about it in July, not discuss it in August, kind of get the finalized little tweaky things in September done, and then maybe approve it in October, and then present it in November.
yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
And then I do have another question. So in June, we're looking for a guest speaker, right? It's kind of what it looks like. So one of the areas that I'm not as well educated in that I would like to be, that recently continues to come up more, is do we have somebody that could talk to us or walk us through the different statuses that people hold in the country? The only reason I ask is because, for example, when I'm looking at applications for students coming to school, there's so many different documents, so many different statuses, so many different processes. Some people have Social Security cards that can't be used for work, some can, some are eligible for financial aid for school, some aren't. So it just kind of has opened my mind to the fact that I am not well educated in those different areas, and I need to be. And so I've heard that Lutheran Social Services does a really nice little training, and I don't know if anybody knows of anybody else, but could that be one of our speakers?
We had someone
That
last
lady,
year.
And she was amazing, and I was like, oh my God, I could spend like hours listening to you talk
She was an
about-
immigration attorney.
Yeah, but she was.
Anna Stenson?
No,
I have her stuff somewhere. She was so good.
it was last year. I don't
If I
remember.
find it, but it was very interesting, and I understood what she was talking about. And she was talking about the process and how long you have to be here, and the applications, and what they do. And I think they do, is it not, she travels all over.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
She was one person for a big region.
Yeah, I'll look and see if I thought I had.
But we could certainly, LSS, we could ask her to come back.
LSS.
Nope, she wasn't.
Yeah, and anybody. I mean, the biggest thing is it's a topic that is coming up professionally a lot. And there's clearly a lot of misunderstanding and misconception and assumption around it. And then when we do speaker presentations like this, could we be a little bit more publicly open about the fact that here is our speaker at the commission meeting tonight? If you'd like to learn more about this topic as well, please join us, because it's open for the public to come, and I'm willing to bet that more than just myself seem to be a little bit confused in this topic, that when we have speakers really specific on topics like that, I know we all have our own outreach that we could do, but, could we do it from a city platform a little bit more, just to promote? I'm just trying to think of, how does the Human Rights Commission make change in a community for free? And it's that if we have people coming in and sharing information, we just open the door for the opportunity for them to come in and hear the same message.
And as an educational body, I think that's a great idea. I think you guys just need to come up with suggestions for how you want to do that.
Okay.
So,
The
the little notice that everybody
the
gets.
e-notice, it goes out, the meeting notice goes out once monthly prior to the meeting.
Right, can we add to it? Like, put a little, I know we get that little
Potentially.
thing that, and then maybe on the, because people aren't gonna open, if, they might not, they probably don't open it and look at the agenda, because it'll say it on the agenda, but maybe on the little meeting notice, we can put like, in highlighted, note, this is gonna be our speaker. If you're interested in learning more about it for free, come and join us. I mean, maybe it's something like that.
Right.
Something that won't take somebody a lot of time. I mean, it just, the second you open it, you see that. You don't have to open any attachments, you don't have to open anything. If we just add a little zip to
Right.
it, or put a little clip art in, or, I mean,
Yeah,
something that
yeah.
You
can.
could look, I don't know, I know those notices are generated automatically, so, but I'm sure there's, if not that, maybe an additional notice.
Something,
Yeah, but that's what we need, is suggestions on
Right.
ways to get it out
I
there.
mean, I know we send out the notice and the agenda and all that stuff, but, ooh,
It's even like that, like a Facebook event, like, for that part. So we got the formal meeting announcements, but a Facebook event for every month announcing what the speaker is. And then that goes up, and
I don't know, did we look into seeing if we could have a Facebook? I think at one point we'd talked about that, but I don't know if that was something that we were.
I don't know.
Yeah.
How do we find out?
I can find out.
Yeah, because that might be just a good, because, I know that we're not going to learn what an hour-and-a-half presentation could on some of these topics, but even if, like, a director of a nonprofit came to just hear a blurb about it, or, I just think that if we can get better, or this year have kind of a internal goal of how do we, because some of the information we hear is so powerful and so informational, and I just don't know that it's getting out to our communities. Like, how do we put people in those seats so that they're hearing some of the same stuff?
For the documentation thing that you mentioned, I think someone who go through can tell us to all, or immigration lawyer will be a good person. I know the refugees, when they come this country, there's many times they're supposed to change their social security. As asylum seeker, when you come this country, you get a social security right away, but it's only work only. There's some note on the social security, not the same that the other refugee gets. The other refugees, they get the social security right away and I-94, then they will apply green card later on. They will wait for the green card whenever they get. After 5 years, they will apply passport. When they get, they have to change their social security again. So there's many times they change social security, like you mentioned. But immigration lawyer will be the best person to.
It was Martha
Castagnon,
Yes, from,
legal services.
yeah.
Yeah, and she lives
Oh,
right here in
when was
Moorhead.
Like how,
October last year.
so it would be 2 years later.
Right.
Like if we.
I mean, she was,
But Martha still lives here in Moorhead
Right.
still, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was just one that I didn't know I needed to know more about.
yeah, you don't know.
It's a good
I
point.
know.
What was
Yeah.
her last name?
Castagnon, Casteno.
STANO.
O-N.
it says on here. but I thought she was,
Great.
that's her.
She's great.
All right, well, I found that. Good thing I save every.
Good thing you have a
everything.
binder.
Good thing I have a binder. It's what you
Binder
put in your
envy.
binder that matters.
That's right.
I keep everything. Okay, oh, are we still talking about the annual plan? Is there anything else we need to do on that?
Do we need to change in here? Wait, let me look. That we changed cultural,
So
Diversity
Diversity
Day
Day is, and it is official now.
it's
So
the third
It is the.
Saturday of November.
Yes,
So
so it
we need,
passed
right, so we need to add that onto
in November.
this calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. We silently moved that.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Okay, so add that.
And it is Cultural Diversity Day is what
Mm-hmm.
it is as.
I think, or is it just called diversity? Did they call it?
It was
just
called
Cultural
Diversity
Day.
Day.
Okay.
Third Saturday in November.
So we add that and then we change
Mhm.
dates. Anything else on that? Oh, and then, what month were we just talking about?
That's November.
Okay, yeah, but June, we were talking about maybe having somebody
Yeah, because
come
it
and
just
speak
had
up.
on here a
Yep.
question mark. It
Yep.
doesn't,
So maybe we can put her in there.
Mm-hmm.
I got it.
are there really no awareness or education month things in January?
There's got to be something, right?
You got Google, Deb? I'm trying to think of what, like, all the ones that I know of are not, like, do you know of any January,
January?
like, awareness month?
It's called recuperation from the holidays.
Yeah.
Called debt.
Unless we create one
I'm trying
now.
to make out your payments.
I think, I'm not sure.
We could have somebody come in and speak about debts.
Human Trafficking Awareness Month? That actually would be interesting to,
Yeah.
and that is an issue it's a human rights issue that is relevant in our community.
Yeah.
Yeah. January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month, so we have a speaker. We are looking at bringing in the Human Rights Awards recipients, but that would be something to, because there's a new group, there's a new nonprofit in the Fargo-Moorhead area that's working on human trafficking, and there's one in the Bismarck area, but I'm trying to think of what
There's one in Minneapolis too, those ones that I invited the other day.
Oh.
The Advocates for Human Rights.
What's their name? What's the name of that group?
The Advocates for Human Rights.
Oh, Advocates, yes, yeah, Advocates for Human Rights, yes, yeah. But there's a new group here that I've been hearing, and now I can't think of what their name is, but.
Well, and I know YouthWorks does a lot of, they have like special advocates that are doing human trafficking.
Well, add the Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and then, we have time to decide if we want to, we don't have to have it, we're gonna have a speaker on that particular thing on this plan.
Right. Yeah, we're adaptable.
Okay, perfect.
Well, and these would be things that would be nice if we had a Facebook page that like we're just recognizing this month as this awareness month or, you know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily mean that our speaker has to go along with that, right? I mean, it could be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that,
I think that's all I have.
what do we do now, John?
Let me update it and bring it back, and then you guys can give it the seal of approval.
Okay, and then what happens after we seal it?
Then we submit it to City Council.
And then we like send it to them or?
Well, either it goes on consent or they ask you to come and present it.
Okay, perfect. That would be awesome.
Super. We're moving right
All
along.
right. Reports, announcements, and upcoming events.
You want to go first, or do you have to, you look like you had something to say. I've got stuff, so, yeah.
No, I don't have anything. This is where I was gonna add that Cultural Diversity Day did get changed, but we kind of already talked
Yeah.
about that. so. Go ahead.
I have a couple of things. One, I wanted to mention Pangea, that went really well, and it looks like they may have had a record number of people. They had over, they've had like 1,500 people that came to it this year. So they thought the previous record was like 1,475. They're not entirely sure of that, but it looks like they broke the record for highest attendance. And we did have we hosted and so I didn't get to see Connie, but I know Connie was there too. And so thanks to former Mayor Delray Williams for putting together the hospitality room too. And it was nice to be able to chat with people who were part of that day. And then I wanted to bring back, we had talked about seeing if our law enforcement liaison could start attending meetings. And I just wondered, I wanted to ask Josh if you had a chance to, were you going to look into that, or?
I can if you'd like me to.
Okay, 'cause
I don't recall.
I thought that's what, maybe I'm wrong. What do other
We
people?
talked about it, but I don't remember what.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I don't.
Yeah, if you want me to ask it, you would like him to come.
I was just thinking, I think as we are looking at, since we added it to our plan
Yeah.
of looking at working on improving community police relations and even highlighting things that they're doing, like we had 2 nominations in here that were with our local
Right.
law enforcement. And so looking at how we might build on those things and I think
maybe-
having,
Maybe just start by
Yeah.
finding out what their availability is. Even if they can't make every meeting, maybe can it be every other meeting?
Yeah.
So that we just have some kind of presence.
yeah.
And I think also not having the obligation to have to stay through the whole thing. But,
Right.
if they're here, at least to maybe be hearing the same presentations that we're hearing. And then
Yeah.
if there's that spot for like citizens to be heard, could be, I just don't want them to, 'cause sometimes our meetings get long because some of you all ask a lot of questions.
Some of y'all do.
So are we wanting them to attend, provide updates, to do, just to attend, to observe what's going on?
I think ideally, yeah, have them be a part of this, like, so if they're the liaison, that way they would be fully, they would be able to hear what's happening, but I also, I think realistically, that may not always be possible, but, having them be able to be part of the conversation and be able to answer questions if questions come up, or just hear what is being presented, just to build that connection would be valuable, so,
Maybe
I mean,
start
this
by
is-
finding out and see
Yeah.
what they can do.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if it's necessary to have them here every single meeting, or if they can just stop by and we can, if we have questions or something like that, and say, hey,
Even
up in line.
for starters, so if we have a liaison, what was the expectation about that position? Because to me, I would like it to be, it sounds like in Fargo, they do have somebody who is at all of the meetings. And so I think a liaison, that would be somebody that is, so that it would be part of that position. But,
Because you're our liaison, right, Josh?
Mm-hmm.
You're here at every meeting.
So is he, the police officer is community liaison or human rights liaison?
He's a liaison to the HRC from
For the
law
human-
That's what I
enforcement.
feel, yeah,
So if we have questions or
to ask.
want to utilize that resource, we have a resource to go to.
I would really present it because we put it in our plan and we know that this is one of those community barriers that we have, that we would really like to set that expectation that it becomes part of the partnership that we have with them. I think sometimes if you present things like, well, come when you can, or if you want to, it just doesn't seem to be like a priority, where we very much want to present it in a way that obviously it's not mandatory, but that this partnership is really one of the high priorities that we all feel like needs to take place. And to have that happen, we need to be able to have common space and common conversation.
Yeah. And I think even, we've taken the step of creating the position, and we value that, and let's work at building on that. And, to me, this could be a really positive thing. And then I had just had a couple of announcements. So first of all, if you are free at 7 o'clock tonight, because today is Transgender Day of Remembrance, and so there is an event at 7 o'clock at First Congregational United Church of Christ in Moorhead. Then tomorrow, the 21st, there's an event at at the Presentation Prayer Center in Fargo, and it's called Palestinians, Unwanted People. And then on the 30th, CHIRA, one of the great Moorhead nonprofit organizations that we've talked about many times and is a past recipient, and one of our new, one of this year's folks is somebody who works with CHIRA. They're doing an event on November 30th, and it's standing for peace in Iraq. So to show, it's a vigil for our Iraqi community. So that's at 12 o'clock at Trinity Lutheran Church here in Moorhead.
You know what, thank you. And I was just, if we can do a Facebook page, things like that would be
Yeah.
very handy. I mean, we talk about them here, but, and we all make notes, but I mean, it might be a good place for people to start really looking at and using that site for information and things like that.
Yeah.
I'll find out for next time.
Okay.
May I pass this out because it's relevant to what
Yes.
she brought up? This is two-sided, so if you can just take a minute to read both sides. Thank you. This was that extra thing that just kind of came last minute.
Oh,
Who was the award winner from last year? Oh, that's what you just talked about.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like.
Yeah, that's why
right.
I was like, this is a fitting
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're looking for someone to come and speak at it, yeah. Yes, and I actually spoke at one of their events, and the mayor spoke, so they did a vigil a few weeks ago. And a few of us spoke at that, and then they're planning this event, and I know they were looking at lining up some different speakers. So, and typically, if you did it, it would be just something short. They didn't have to do a long. Yeah. In fact, they even said 5 to 10 minutes at the most.
Yeah, it sounded like something brief.
The one difficulty for anybody's traveling for next week,
Yeah.
that's the only downside. It's the
Sunday, isn't it? Is that Sunday or Sunday?
Saturday, I believe, right?
I think so.
I don't think I'm here.
I'm not available that day. That's not great. That's not a great time. Are you out of town?
I'm out of town.
Well, that's okay. It came in last minute. There
Yeah.
wasn't much notice of the request anyways, but
No.
is that what you want me to just respond? Thanks for the invite and sorry we're not available.
Connie, did you
For
want-
sure, I'll be there, but I will prefer one of you guys to speak there, if you guys would be there.
If plans change, my plans are very
But I will be there.
But
tentative. So I would hate to commit and then not show up. I feel like that's almost more unprofessional,
Mm-hmm.
then, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what you would want me to say. This is the first I'm,
Well, and to be clear too, I mean, if someone attends, they'd be attending, on their own behalf, not on the commission's behalf.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, this is asking
if they're
to
asking to
present a
speak?
speech for
Right.
5 to 10
It
minutes.
is, yeah.
I know what to say if I'm going to speak there. Anyway, yeah, I'll be there and I'll speak if they want.
Okay, so you want me to tell them that, you want me to, I'll send them your contact info.
Yep.
Yeah.
He knows I'll be there, but tell me that on behalf of our group, I'll be there.
But as a commissioner, as Connie Otten, but not on behalf of the commission.
Well, I don't know, how does that work? Can he
Well-
say there, he's there as, I mean, if we select Connie to represent us?
Then I'll be
or-
there on behalf of them.
Or that he can say he's,
What I was told was that, as an educational recommending body, the appropriate action, if any, would be a recommendation sent to city council, because the city doesn't have any official position on these things. And there's not time between now and the 30th for that to happen. And because of that, that's why we stated that, you'd have to go on your own behalf. You can be a commissioner, obviously, but it wouldn't be on behalf of the commission,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
So basically, go, but you don't have to speak.
no, he can.
You can go, yeah, you can speak
Yeah,
if you want to,
but
but
it
you're
wouldn't
speaking
be
for
a
yourself,
speech-
on your own
it would be a
behalf.
speech on behalf of the commission.
It would be as a
Kaniada.
It'd be as Connie Otten, yeah,
human rights
I'll go then. I'll
Right.
see
Human
you.
Rights Commission,
Right.
yeah, Moorhead Human Rights
right,
Commissioner.
but not on behalf of the Human
Right.
Rights Commission.
Yeah.
Not to split hairs, but,
Okay. If I am in town, I'll come.
Good.
so shall I,
Support you, but
Yep.
I'm gonna let you.
Then you will
So-
speak.
No, I'm not, no.
so I could pass just kind of pass your information on and
Yes.
to.
That'd be
he's on-
great, Connie.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Good job.
You too. You coming, right?
If I'm in town, I'll come.
Anything else?
No.
All right, well, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Do you have to do the motion first? Was yours a motion? Okay.
Can I motion things? I don't know.
No, I don't think you can.
We got a first.
Yeah. Is there a second?
Second.
It's like, I'm like,
Come on.
Opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned.
Right.